Hello everybody, we're back. Now, just to be fair about this, I'm going to go ahead and actually turn this to a more sensitive time frame. And we're going to go ahead and do this. There we go. And we are going to go ahead and set this up. Alright, belong. These might be sensitive topics as well, so let's go and get this party going. Now, we got about 20 minutes, so just to be honest here, me personally, just to cut to the chase, I don't mind talking about politics. I don't mind talking about life. I don't mind talking about religion. I don't mind talking about anything. But the subject matter matters. Where you're having this discussion matters. You warn people that this is going to be some subject to sensitive topics. People can be easily hurt by this. So if this isn't your bag of things, go. Just plain and simple. I'm easygoing about it, but I'm going to actually give everybody a warning. If you're joining in, please use discretion. Now, you want to have a serious topic to talk about? COVID-19. My mother almost died from it. Is it real? Yes. Now, am I going to tell people to actually go get a vaccine? No. That's your discretion. That is your choice. I'm not going to force my will upon somebody else, even though that I had a family member almost die from it. Now, politics. With everything going on with Trump, Biden, people are putting stickers on fuel station signs with Joe Biden saying, I did this, actually causing vandalism and other things. Come on. If you really want to talk about things, if you really want to get down to business, go out to the real world. Take a look at the homeless shelters. Look at people. I think that here's the question we should ask. And this is opinion. Okay. I think people need to do their own research. I know that the scientific community has its own agenda. I know pharmaceutical companies have their own agenda. But let me ask this. What are your personal views? Is COVID a myth? Or is it real? Has it killed people? Has it not? The question is then, let's draw those concrete lines. Has it killed people? Yes. Has the flu killed people? Yes. Has the cold killed people? Yes. Hey, welcome. Now, being serious, this is one of those times where this is a point of view discussion. Discretion is advised, so please, if you're not... Yeah, there, welcome, welcome. Okay. Now, from my perspective, since I almost lost a family member from COVID, I do believe that actually having vaccines to help prevent the overall severity of COVID is a good thing. Now, other people are like, don't put that needle anywhere near me. Yes, I do. But not right now. If you look at the video right now, we're having a point of view discussion. And this is one of those where viewer discretion is advised. So, do I think some of the vaccines may have been, some of the side effects been covered up? Maybe. It's one of those things where I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I don't have the research material, and also, it's one of those things where I'm going to say very plainly that if you throw a stone in any direction, you'll come up with different things like, oh, it's fake. Oh, it's real. Oh, the symptoms did this. Oh, it nearly killed me. Oh, I had a reaction. There's hyperbole. There's opinions. There's a lot of chaff in the wind. And the fact is, you got to be extremely careful. You got to be extremely careful. And be educated. Now, like I said, this is opinion. But the other thing about it is you have to take this seriously. If you go out and you don't feel good and you cough in somebody's face, I think that's one of those things where I reserve my opinion on that. I think mandating people and telling people what to do is going too far, but I think having the availability and the right information is a good thing. I'll look into it. I think that having vaccines at the disposal of individuals for choice, with proper information and with the science behind it at our disposal, is one of those things. But one of those things where also claims of disinformation on both the anti-vaxxers and the vaxxers both can cause issues. Like I said, I'm pretty simple-minded when it comes down to this, and I prefer to be realistic. Do I think it's real? Yes. Did I, in order to protect my family, get a vaccine? Yes. Now, some people, literally, if anybody has any type of dating app or anything else, well, so would then the term faxer be. They both have their downfalls. Socialism actually has the benefit of actually being able to quickly boost an economy for a duration of time. But also, the problem is when you bring everybody together, there's always going to be winners and losers. So, in the end of it, if you're going to build a society off of socialism, it has to change into a different form of government within a duration of time, or else it will fall. Capitalism, if you ever looked at Star Trek and thought about the Ferengi, that's what I think of capitalism on the nth degree. I don't. I think that things are complicated, and I think that having a middle ground where you have some socialism, some capitalism, and some parts of other parts of government and moderation with it. If you go too far on any side of government, on any side, anywhere, you end up with bingo. Bingo, bingo. I can agree with corporatism. Um, if you look at America truly, it is more of an oligarchy than it is more of a republic. And the problem is America was supposed to be based more off of a republic that represents its citizens. Now the question is, does our politicians actually represent our feelings, our basis? Now, Richard, um, to be honest, it's one of those things where I'm a realist. Okay, okay. See, we have like eight. We have the Green Party. We have so many others. But the problem is when you boil it down, you can actually place them into subgroups. We have the Republicans. We have the Tea Party. We have the Green Party. We have the Socialist Party. We have the Democrat Party. Uh, it's bad. It's bad. What we need, though, is a party to actually represent the individuals who are actually in the middle of the roaders. They have views that actually come out to be both conservative and democratic at times. There's people who, um, he's a journalist, Temple. I may not agree with everything he has to say, but he is a valid journalist. Then you look at a journalist like Tom Hartman. Like I said, I don't mind having discussions. I don't mind having topics to talk about, and I don't even mind Blasto Gaming 92. I think that there's a sense of tribalism to certain things. Now, do I equate that to racism? No. Now, um, some Asiatic cultures are actually more tribal and also tend to be more racially biased. Now, racist, no, but they prefer to be around their, yes, prejudiced. Yes. They have a leaning, they have a prejudice. It's not racist. They don't discriminate, but they prefer. They don't think you're less. They just don't prefer you around them. Some families in the Philippines actually have a prejudice against others when it comes down to certain family members and things. I had an ex-girlfriend who was actually married to a Filipino family, married into a Filipino family, and she was discriminated on. Not to the point of being racist, but there was a prejudice against her. Now, I'm not going to say names or anything like that, and it's one of those things where I'd rather leave those people out of this conversation, but there are examples of this happening, real life examples that I can point to. Um, I'm one of those people where Biden, hmm, my personal feelings about Biden is that he's may be mentally competent, but he has issues. And the problem is the Democratic Party, well, the conservative part of the Democratic Party have him in lock and tow. And the fact is there's things that he's doing that just don't make any sense to anybody. Um, the fact that he also slurs doesn't help his cause and actually proves a point. The thing is, if you look at older videos of him too, he has stutters and slurs. Not as much as he does nowadays, but he did have them in the past. But believe me, I did not want either Trump or Biden to be president. I was okay with Tulsi Gabbard or somebody else other than Kamala Harris, but that's as far as I'll go. I don't think having people of age is a problem with him pointing them, but I think that regarding now, this is going to be divisive, and like I said, this is opinion. You can disagree with me, but I didn't agree with Trump's views. I said he did some good things for the country, and I even talked with hardline Trump believers, and there were things that Trump did behind the scenes in America that people never noticed. There was things he did as a president that was unbecoming of a president if you paid attention to the stuff he did. Now, the problem is, if you're also looking at all the things he did behind the scenes, means you're not just paying attention to his. Bingo, bingo. Well, you can have that choice. I have to say, though, Bernie Sanders actually fell into that group, too, when he actually agreed to be more Democratic leaning instead of his own independent viewpoints because he fell into bowing the knee. Oh, the problem is what I've noticed in America in particular is the younger people and generations are more focused on what's immediately tangible. I mean, yes, I've seen some younger politicians, but the point is the question is, what is the motivation to be a politician? Why are you doing it? Are you trying to evoke change? Are you trying to be bingo? Bingo. Are you actually trying to enact change, or are you just trying to make money? What is your motivation? The reason why I started my YouTube channel was to try to invoke change, to try and do some good. Even with the mistakes I've made, even with the issues I've made, even with the mistakes I've made with my family and everything else, the reason why I started actively going live on my YouTube channel is so that somebody could actually open up and talk. So that there was a voice out there for those people who didn't feel like they had one, or felt like if somebody was down and having issues, that somebody else is going through stuff. I mean, hell, let's see, I just had a massive car issue, and I'm a delivery driver, and I do courier services, for God's sakes. I literally had about $1,500 in expenses for car repair. And literally, when I was driving down the road, I literally had a loose brake line that if failed, bingo, 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 that if failed though, I could have actually died. I could have had no brakes or killed people. So we all have our things that we handle. We all have things that are responsibility to take care of. That's mine because of what I do. Anyways, 20 minutes is up. If you really want to have a discussion, leave comments down in the comments section. You don't have to subscribe to my channel. No force. I'm not going to limit discussion. I'm not going to limit healthy talks or points of views or disagreements. But when I'm doing a stream, don't get me started on Ukraine. It's another problem that the US kind of instigated because think about this. What would have happened if Russia started showing interest in Cuba again? Or what would have happened if Russia actually moved a whole lot of manpower over to the Bering Straits area? How would US react? Just asking. It's a very complicated situation, but I'm just asking for people to put on the critical thinking hats just for a minute and think about the results of what would happen if Russia enacted that way. If the shoe was on the other foot, what would the reaction be? That's all I ask. Now, I do have to get going. Like I said, this is definitely like I said, do I support the people in Ukraine who are trying to have their freedoms and try and have their rights? Yes. Do I support Ukraine? It's complex, and I'm not going to show this because, or state this, or endorse it because the problem is the United States and some of the other nations kind of caused this to begin and have issues. Yes, it's wrong, and it should be addressed as wrong. And there should be humanitarian aid coming to it, and there should be defensive measures put in place. But I think that's where it needs to stop. Now, I gotta get going. Y'all have a good one. Like I said, keep this conversation in the um, comment section. Legitimately, I'll take part of it, but keep this healthy. People can have feelings, they can have discussion, they can have healthy talk. I'm not going to be offended by anybody sharing an opinion. But as soon as that opinion turns into an aggressive attack on somebody or somebody's well being, that's where I'm going to jump in and actually be like, hey, time out, stop. Not cool. Look at the comments here. I'm working on it. Y'all have a good one.